This is the 2024 playoffs. Orlando Aces versus the Atlanta Wild here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Let's see who goes to the championship. All right, we got Archie Andrade over there for the Aces, Matt Cable for the Atlanta Wild. Just in case you're just joining us, this match will determine who goes to the championship. The championship picture is becoming more and more clear as we found out earlier that the Sharks will be competing in the championships for the first time. Meanwhile, these two teams are waiting for their spot, trying their best to get there.
Yes, and as you can see, they're starting off with the box jump overs. The faults will be given out if the feet don't land within the plane of the box. So you got to keep in mind, sometimes the players, they try to run before they land. These referees will give out their fault, but if they do it correctly, that's something they won't have to deal with.
That's right. The last time these teams faced off this season, the Orlando Aces took that W. So I'm sure they're looking to take it again. I'm sure the Wild are looking for some payback from last time. Oh, it looks like Matt Cable didn't jump next to his box there. He had to redo that rep. But the Aces actually have a slight lead here. They just subbed out for some new players. We see Amanda Fisher and Griffin Roll coming in here for the Atlanta Wild. That's Taylor Sturgis and Trisha Davis for the Orlando Aces.
And while you see these players snatch that heavyweight over their heads, you also see their partners in the hash box ready for them to jump right back into that quadrant. Now they're on the box jump overs. They must be in the hash box. If they don't, the reps will not count. So you got to pay attention to your strategy and your technique.
That's right. Some really good transitions from the Orlando Aces. A little bit of a slip up on the transition for the Wild side, but everybody's still going fast. The Wild were able to make up some time here. Jumping over that box like if he weighs 2 pounds. Amanda Fisher finishing off 2 reps. Oh, Trisha Davis faulted, and the Atlanta Wild are going to take this first partner forward.
What a beginning, what a start, Cassie, and that finish. She hit her shins on that box, I think it was. I know that hurt, but great win by the Wild as they came out the gate strong. Both evenly matched, though, until the end right there. So hopefully the Aces can clean up what happened there and get it on in the next race.
That's right. It looks like Taylor Stallings is not very happy about how that turned out. Looks like she's calling for a rerun. Let's go ahead and get a better picture from Joe out there on the grid.
As the coach for the Aces is calling for a review.
Thank you, Cassie. We are here live. Match number 2 of our playoffs. Final 2 teams, the Atlanta Wild #2 seed facing off against the Orlando Aces, the defending champions from last season. Now, spirits are very high for both teams. They are very excited. A lot of passion on both sides of the grid. Aces hope for their co-coach and one of their players, Taylor Stallings, to help lead them to that second victory, back-to-back championships. Atlanta Wild, excited to have Matt Cable back. New addition to the team, was formerly with the Tampa Bay Brigade, now with the Wild, coming back after missing the last 2 matches. Very excited for both these teams. Back to you at the desk.
Well, it looks, friends, like if there's going to be some kind of rerun, not necessarily sure what the picture is or what is going on, but we'll find out in just a second, and we'll see if we have to rerun that. In the meantime, we'll be right back.
Mirror, the second race of every match, always features a barbell element. A male and a female barbell are placed in the first quadrant. Upon the start of the race, both are picked up by the team in any fashion by the 3 men and 3 women allowed in the race at any given time. Once the barbell leaves the ground, it may not touch the ground again until all reps are complete. If it does, the entire team must return to the start line before continuing. A set number of reps must be completed by both genders in each quadrant before the team can move on. Non-lifting players will act as the human rack to support the barbells as the team moves from quadrant to quadrant and switches performing players in the process as needed. Substitutions may happen at any time. Time stops when all reps are complete and the last player crosses the finish line. This strength-focused race has the most players on the grid at the same time and requires effective planning and practice to be executed well through coordination amongst players. Remember, don't drop the barbell in the mirror race.
This is how I ollie pop. do love this stuff. It's been a game changer. We keep it in our house now. Highly recommended. It's really good.
It's really good. Perfect.
Welcome back, friends. We just saw that partner forward race, and now I am here with Brent. How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. What do you think about your first time seeing grid?
I am blown away.
Yeah?
Like, I mean, the athleticism, the teamwork, the excitement, the dynamic nature of this is out of this world. And I'm a big CrossFit fan. I'm also a CrossFit trainer. This blows it away. Absolutely incredible what y'all are doing here at the Grid League.
Yeah, it's really fun to watch. It's more of like a spectator sport than kind of just solely based on fitness, right?
Yeah, I mean, it keeps you engaged. I mean, I have a booth over there, but I keep sneaking away from the booth to come watch these incredible athletes do things that I can only dream of that I can hopefully do one day.
Is your booth about Facet? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it is. So Facet is like, I like to think of Facet as like your financial fitness partner, because these athletes here are locked in physically. But I always, you have to ask a question like, are we locked in financially? Are we financially healthy, financially well? And frankly, it's part of just like a life well lived. Being physically fit, mentally fit, and financially fit is what it's all about. That's the trifecta of the whole package, and that's what we're bringing to the athletes here and the community at large for Grid League.
So give me an example about something that you would offer one of these athletes.
Well, it's everything. I mean, we did an interview with them yesterday. Everything from they have student loans or they're buying a house, right? I mean, we handle every facet of your money and every facet of your life. So whether it's how much money you make or paying less in taxes or saving, paying down debt, investing, or frankly the life event. So you're getting married, having a kid, buying a home, etc. Like, we can help you with every facet of your money and every facet of your life.
That's very cool. I'm definitely going to check it out. What is your favorite element that you've seen in the grid here today?
I think all the events. I mean, the fact that it's not just one thing in weightlifting, it's like the dynamic, the gymnastics, the lifting, the speed. It blows me away. If you haven't seen it, like, you got to keep checking out these Grid League events because it's absolutely dynamic, fun, exciting, and an amazing thing you have to be a part of.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brett. Let's go ahead and take it on the grid where we're looking forward to seeing this mirror race. The mirror is going to be 40 thrusters, 10 in each quadrant, all right, and they're going to be switching using human racks. That bar for the men is going to be 195 pounds, and for the female, it's going to be 130 pounds. That's Archie Andrade for the Aces, paired up with Jasmine Simpson. Meanwhile, for the Wild, it's going to be Sydney Wilson and Tom Soroka. They're doing a great job. No, I'm sorry, that's David McKellar. I saw that depth, and I'm like, ooh, that's not Soroka. David McKellar is actually a really good Olympic weightlifter. I've been following him on Instagram for quite some time, and just watching the amount of weight that he does, and the fact that he's able to go so fast is very impressive. But as you see, they use human racks to move quadrant to quadrant, and because of that, there's a lot of slip-ups that can happen. It's all about communication.
Absolutely. As you can see, both these teams, they seem to be evenly matched as they come out the gate strong. They're taking their time, making sure those reps are complete. They have to make sure that they don't drop those bars, because if they do, they have to start over. So you can see them making sure that their strategy is on point.
That's right. It looks like they're pretty evenly matched here. Hands up for the Wild so far, and the score unofficially is going to be 2 for the Atlanta Wild, 1 for the Orlando Aces. They did not rerun that partner forward because Taylor Stallings was trying to argue that they weren't meeting the standards for locking out their hips for the overhead squats. But you know, that's just coaches doing what they do and trying to give their team as much as possible. We see Taylor Stallings on the grid. Hands up for the Atlanta Wild. Hands up for the Aces. 2 reps remaining for the Wild. Can they finish before the Aces?
Lock out.
And it looks like the Wild are going to take the first 2 races. Tom Soroka with a little DMX.
You see that? Back in the day. Listen, I would expect nothing less from the Wild. Strength specialists galore on that team. They're a very powerful team from the ground up. So great win by them. Listen, the Aces were right there too. So we got 2 championship type teams that are competing right now. Great job by both.
That's right. It was pretty close up until the end there in that 3rd and 4th quadrant transition. I know the Orlando Aces are definitely feeling very hungry about what's to come and really need that first win to boost morale. We saw it happen in the last one too. And Taylor Stallings was, you try to help out your team any way you can. Oh, maybe they didn't lock out their hips, they didn't meet the standards, but it was ruled that they did meet the standards. So just things like that they can do for that. But looking forward to that next race, which which is the ringer point.
The ringer point race is the only race in the match that is chosen by the teams. There are 2 ringer point races in every match, one picked by each team from a set list of races determined prior to the season. Each ringer point race generally features 1 player, and there is a male and female version of some races depending on the race requirements. The head coach decides whether a male or female will perform the race based on what they feel is the best choice from their roster. There is a catch. A player may only be chosen once for a ringer point in a given season. This resets in the playoffs. This short and intense race allows teams to influence their opponent's performance both in-match and season-wide. Remember, choose your race wisely in the ringer point race.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others. Join the fight.
And we are back. This next ringer point is sponsored by the Air Force Special Warfare. Join the fight. This is going to be a D-ball over yoke. Because of the fact that we lost a D-ball yesterday, in case you missed it, go watch that back. It was the Aces match. It fell all over Taylor Sturgis. They will both be using 100-pound med balls, but the height will be a little bit higher just to make sure that it's more competitive, right? This is going to be Jasmine Simpson from the Orlando Aces versus Tom Soroka of the Atlanta Wild, both very strong people, and they're pretty much doing the same thing now, so the playing field is a little more even despite the gender, so we're going to see who can take this.
Absolutely, 100 pounds, not too shabby. It used to be 150, but hey, we're gonna see who can take this one. Let's go.
That's right. 100 pounds is no joke, especially when it's a ball that the form kind of falls in your hand like sand. So let's see who takes it.
Stand by.
Jasmine Simpson versus Tom Soroka. We saw Tom Soroka with a little DMX a little while ago. Jasmine Simpson with the lower bar. Tom Soroka making light of that D-ball over the yoke, going really fast. Oh man, that strongman background is paying off. And Tom Soroka takes the ringer point.
Wow, big man, AKA the Mountain, took that particular race just now. He made it look real easy. I was a little concerned because I was concerned about his agility, but man, once he got that 100 pounds over that height, he was out. He got more speed on him than I thought.
It's like the Atlas Stone. You were saying it yesterday. He has that strongman background, so this was kind of his jam here. Jasmine Simpson did really good considering, and she finished very close. I can't say for certain, but I want to say she did finish within 20%, but we'll hear from Joe in just a little bit about the margin in which Tom Soroka won, because of course if you don't finish within 20%, you do not get that 1 point of credit, but it looks like the Wild did take that and did take the first 3 races. The score is unofficially 6 for the Wild and 3 for the Orlando Aces. We'll be right back.
The ladder consists of 2 rows of 4 stations of a strength-based element, 1 row for males and 1 row for females. The weight increases as you move down the grid. Teams send out 1 player at a time, alternating male and female, to perform the designated lift for the match format. Each successful lift has a point value that is added to the team's ladder score. The point value is equal to the quadrant the barbell is sitting in. Players are allowed 1 lift attempt per quadrant and may skip any quadrant they choose, but are never allowed to backtrack once a barbell is passed. The team with the highest total point value at the end of the 4-minute time cap wins. This race is one of the most strategic and coach-reliant of all of the races. As a good game plan and in-the-moment decision-making, to manage time is everything. Remember, lift heavier and score higher in the ladder race.
Peachy athletic shorts, guys. Just saying. Looking peachy.
And the peaches are great. They're really stretchy. They're soft.
I like the fit. I like the fabric. It makes me just feel more comfortable while I'm working out. I don't have to worry about things coming out.
Love training in these shorts. Love competing in the shorts. They stay put. Got a really nice thick waistband.
They definitely pass the squat test and the booty test. They're really comfortable. Like I could wear them out and I could wear them on the floor.
But still feel covered, but able to do all the movements.
Go get yourself some.
I wish I thought of that. to twist and rap and twist and rap and twist and rap a million times. I definitely have noticed that Hair Strong has worked.
We gotta love those Hair Strong bands. Let's go ahead and take it over to Joe Roberto to hear a little bit more about that last ringer point race.
Thanks, Cassie. So we just got back the results. As you saw, the Wild did take that first ringer point, 16.78 seconds. The Aces right behind them at 17.62 seconds. So the Aces were inside of the 20% of total finish time, which will give them that 1 point. And of course, 2 points going to the Wild for winning that ringer. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks for that, Joe. Let's go ahead and see what we can look forward to in this ladder race as far as the weights go.
All right, folks, let's get into the actual factuals of the ladder race. We're going to start with the ground to overhead. That's what we're working with today. The men's weight starts at 225, 250, 275 at quadrant 3, and 300 pounds. The women's weight is 135 pounds, 155 pounds, 175 pounds, and 195 pounds at the final quadrant. This could be a clean or a snatch. So we're just going to look to see how these two teams perform today on the grid.
That's right, Joe. I'm really looking forward to this ladder race, especially because there are a lot of people that are joining us that couldn't join us in Vegas. We didn't see a lot of the Aces. We didn't see some of the Atlanta Wild, so this is definitely going to be really fun.
Players ready.
Here we go.
Stand by.
I know the Aces are definitely trying to come back from this deficit. They trail by 3 points here. This is Matt Cable from the Atlanta Wild. This is our first time seeing him since that first match of the season. This is Alex Hollings of the Orlando Aces. Some seriously skilled men here that have been playing for a while. We saw them last season as key players for their teams.
And one thing we'll always mention, folks, you will see certain athletes skip quadrants. They're going to go straight to certain weights that they know they can handle. They want to stack as many points as they can, get that heavyweight up over their head as best they can, and they're going to make it count.
That's right, because whatever quadrant they're in is how many points they'll get. So if you're in quadrant 1, it's worth 1 point. If you're in quadrant 4, it's worth 4 points. And you want to get as many bars as possible. It looks like both of these teams are opting for the strategy of going towards the first bar instead of just skipping it and not getting that 1 point of credit. Of course, we have that unofficial scoring down at the bottom for you, and it'll tell you exactly where these teams fare. It looks like so far, unofficially, they are evenly matched with 26 and about to be 26 from Taylor Sturgis here as well.
And I'm looking out here on the grid. This is where the Wild things dwell, folks. It's looking like lightweight, baby, for some of these athletes out here. They're just throwing this weight out here, taking their time. It is a dangerous movement if you don't know what you're doing, even for these pros. So they're making sure they have the right techniques so they can stack these points.
That's right, and one thing that's important to mention, it's not only about how strong you are, but how fast you can go down the grid. And we're seeing that play out in front of our eyes right here with the Atlanta Wild. They're going much faster than the Aces are going, I have to say. Just from looking not only at the live score, but how many people are sent through. The Aces are still on their women, and Griffin Roll is already on that last bar. So they're almost an entire person ahead.
It seems like both teams are really confident about how they're performing right now. Everybody's focused. It's a quiet confidence going on right now. Get that heavyweight up over your head, boy. Yeah, we like to see that right now. The Aces seem to be neck and neck with the Wild, and we're going to see who's going to close out this ladder race.
That's right. Ryan DeMatti, Sydney Wilson on that fourth quadrant. Sydney Wilson, very easy. Ryan DeMatti, very easy. 2023 MVP, strength specialist. And here is Blake Kidder. Look how fast he goes. Just watch him. Just watch Blake Kidder.
Wow,
this is one of the fastest ladder times in the league. Very efficient, meeting all the standards. Ridiculous. Wow. And I know he's been practicing that specifically, not only going through the ladder, but going as quickly as possible. Yeah, that's Trisha Davis doing amazing on her ladder for the Aces over there also.
No, I was just going to say he was very proud of that run just now. And keep in mind, this weight gets heavier as they go down the grid. So for the ladies, it's 195 pounds at the last quadrant, and for the guys, it's 300. So when you see them, boom, get that up, 195 pounds. Look at her go. Nice.
That's right. That's a really good ladder clear from Vilma Rosario. She's been working on that as well, getting her strength up, doing really great at that. Here's Tom Soroka coming out for the Atlanta Wild. Archie Andrade just finished on the Aces side. Very easy, really good grind. Lacey Jorquera coming out for the Aces as well. Tom Soroka proving that he is the strong dude that they wanted to sign.
Oh yeah, just a lot of clanging and banging going on out there.
Ooh, look at that
you see that? He posed with it. Look at him. When we were in Vegas, man, it sounded like thunder clapping the way that weights were hitting the ground. So we're a little bit more stable here in Florida, but we're still enjoying this action nonetheless.
That's right. About 30 seconds left here in this ladder race. And that was a really nice split jerk from Di Domenico. We don't see a lot of those. Maybe like one every single match we'll see a split jerk, which is always fun to see. But Julio Delgado's coming out for the Aces. 10 seconds remaining. Let's see how many people can go.
We're coming down.
Okay, Dan is telling his team to stay, not even to get that extra point.
Okay. They feeling very
Bold
confident.
move from Dan.
You see
Bold
that?
move.
You see that gamesmanship like I've never seen before. They look very confident about how they're performing right there. Shout out to the Wild right there. They took that race as well.
That's right. In a second, we're going to take it to Joe, but that was a very bold move from Dan Jackson, head coach and owner from the Atlanta Wild. So interesting to see if it pays off for him. Of course, we had that unofficial scoring there at the bottom, but we'll find out exactly what that score ended up being in a minute. The Orlando Aces looking very strong, very confident. A lot of camaraderie going on between the two teams, but I know that they're looking to rip each other's head off until this thing finishes.
And I think we're waiting for Joe. We're looking for him. He's roving around out there ready to find someone to chat. And there he is setting up.
Yeah, in a second, we'll find out exactly what that ladder score is, but amazing ladder race. You know, it's always fun to see because you never really know what's going to happen. And I think that's the most exciting part is we have to find out the results. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and take it to Joe Roberto with Matt Cable on the grid.
All right, I'm live on the grid with Matt Cable, formerly with the Tampa Bay Brigade, now with the Atlanta Wild. Matt, how are you feeling about the team? And you've been absent the last couple of matches, right? How you feeling?
I've been absent. Birth of my daughter, she's now 4 months old, so I kind of threw the season for a loop a little bit. I delivered her on the freeway.
Yeah, tell us a little bit. That was on a match day, correct?
It was a few days before match, and so I couldn't make our first match, which I had my daughter take care of and my wife, and so I did what I could. I know I watched from afar and was able to cheer, and that's that. And then we fast forward to Vegas. I couldn't make it, the hurricane, and now this is my first official full match, and I'm fired up. I'm ready to go.
Awesome.
But by the way, our team, we've had a lot of adversity, but we look good, we feel good. We're doing what we can. We're here. It's the Aces. Aces are a tough team. We're going to give it 100%, and let's see if we can make that run to the championship.
And one more thing. So what element are you looking forward to the most today on this match?
On this match, I was really excited for the first match part forward. The box jumps, it was good. It was a good workout for me. The ladder was good. And now we got the men's triad coming up. We're ready, so let's see what happens.
Awesome. Good luck to you, and congratulations to your family.
Guys,
take care. Thanks. Back to you guys at the desk.
Element really helps me keep the intensity going.
What an amazing interview from Matt Cable. And guess what, friends? I just got those ladder results. The final result was 96-85. The Wild took it. So not only did they take it, but they won it by more than 10. So they get the 2 points. The Aces get 0 points for that one. It looks like Dan Jackson knew exactly what he was talking about when he told his team to hold up and not send anybody else down. I was worried about it for a second, but he was playing it like a gangster. I have no other word to use but that. Looking forward to this next ringer point race. It's going to be the 12 triple unders for the Atlanta Wild. It's going to be Amanda Fisher, semifinals athlete, versus Darren Lasso, grid veteran.
Yeah, that's our guy who's been there since the very beginning, since Florida Grid League. So we're going to see him perform out there, get these triple jump ropes and get on down this grid. Let's have some fun out there today.
Wow, I have nothing to say except the Wild are being very dominant right now. The Aces did throw their bonus flag on this ringer point, so hopefully it pays off for them. There's a lot to be done here to make up some ground for them.
Layer, ready, stand by.
Amanda Fisher versus Darren Lasso running to the second quadrant. You have to do triple unders. That means that rope has to pass through three times underneath before they move on. Darren Lasso already finished,
Derek.
And he
did the step. He did the step night-night.
Oh,
no, he didn't. He did the Steph Curry night-night. Wow. What a win.
He didn't do the no-look, though. He didn't do the Steph Curry no-look.
He did.
But he did the night-night.
He did. What a win by Darren Lasso. Great job by the veteran. And they needed that. They threw that bonus flag. I'm trying to tell you folks at home, if they did not get that win, it might have been effectively over for the Aces already. So great way for them to stay in this particular match. And we're on to the next one.
That was really fun to watch. I know the Aces definitely needed that one. They threw the bonus flag. It paid off. They knew what they were doing. It was fun to watch. Amanda Fisher did great. You know, it's really hard to do triple unders unbroken like that.
It is.
But I've seen Darren Lasso do it not only on the grid, but in CrossFit competitions as well, local CrossFit competitions. So I kind of had a feeling that was in the bag for him.
I love that particular element, seeing him do those fast ropes and then having a streak down the grid. Great race. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did here, folks. We want to see y'all in person one day too, so I hope you guys are enjoying it.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and look forward to that next race.
Jack and Jill features 3 stations of high-level body weight-based elements that increase in difficulty moving down the grid. 1 male and 1 female are allowed on the grid at any given time, and only 1 player can be working at a time. The team can only move on to the next station when the previous station is complete. This race is the simplest when it comes to rules, but the most reliant on player skill and speed, as the hyper-specialists often make the difference in the race. Remember, let the bodyweight ninjas fly in the Jack and Jill race.
You're more energized, you're more relaxed, you're more ready to hit a hard workout. For me, recovery happens at night when you cleanse your body and you get ready for bed and you get ready for the next day. So it helps me get into that state of calmness. So I feel less fatigued, I feel relaxed, I feel less inflammation when I wake up in the morning. So your recovery's here, but then you take early bird and your recovery goes to here. So it just elevates the recovery. It helps you then perform better the next day. So you need it. It's almost a necessity. It's part of my routine. It's part of my nightly routine. It helps people. It really helps people. Early bird all the way. You know?
Take care of my finances? I got plenty of time for that.
I didn't have plenty of time.
Procrastinating on your finances has a way of stacking up. A membership with Facet is a quick and easy first step to get your finances in order.
I'll get to that tomorrow.
Now is the time to take action. Go to Facet.com to get started on your financial
All right, folks,
wellness
welcome back.
journey
We're getting
today.
ready for the Jack and Jill bodyweight time. Handstand push-ups, 60 of those, quadrant 1. We got the deficit handstand push-ups at 10 inches at 30, and we got freestanding handstand push-ups, 10 of those at a quadrant 3.
That's right. It's going to be an exciting Jack and Jill race. It's bodyweight specialist versus bodyweight specialist. 1 male, 1 female on the grid at a time, taking turns. That's why it's called Jack and Jill. As they get on with those 60 handstand push-ups, let's go ahead and take it over to Joe so he can give us some insight on the last ringer point race.
In the orange and black, Wild in the red and white. 11 for the Wild. 17
Thank you, Cassie. Reporting back on that most recent ringer, Wild did not get the extra point. They were outside of the 20% difference. So 2 points to the Aces, 0 to the Wild. Back to you.
What a dominant showing there from Darren Lasso of the Aces. It looks like Janine Nicole is going to switch out. That's Julio Delgado coming in for the handstand push-up. Sydney Wilson chipping away at them. Meanwhile, over on the Wild side, David McKellar getting ready to do them for the Wild. It looks like they are about rep for rep here, Byron.
They're in sync, it looks like. Almost synchronized swimming type of deal going on out there. And now we're off to the handstand deficits at a 10-inch deficit. That is so hard. We already know a handstand is already hard as it is, but we're seeing these incredible athletes. Look at that struggle. You know it's tough. Great job.
That's right. Good call from Dan for him to switch out there. They're bringing in RJ Hibbert for it. Vilma Rosario doing it in the meantime. Megan Medeiros for the Aces. She's going to be switching out for Alex Velez. Alex Velez, has been a while since we've seen him. The Aces have actually added depth to their roster, so not everybody has to do so much work here. You know, they have a little bit of everything.
Now, I like how, I know you can't probably see it on the screen, but we have athletes, I guess, in the waterfall position, ready for the freestanding handstands. I like how they stand in position ready to go as they go from the deficit handstand push-ups.
That's right. I wouldn't call it the waterfall just because, you know, there's only one person working at a time. There's only one station where they could complete things at. Janet Durant started those freestanding handstand push-ups first. RJ Hibbert completing in the meantime. Two remaining for the Aces.
Oh.
And the Aces are going to take the Jack and Jill. That's back-to-back wins for them. I know it feels good. They needed it. And the Wild are going to finish within the time cap there.
It's like we always say, Cassie, from match to match, from race to race, from element to element, you never know who's going to win. Certain teams are stronger in certain parts, and other teams are stronger in other parts. So the Aces are definitely showing their championship medal once again. 2 races again, like you mentioned, and we're coming down to a wire once again.
That's right. It looks like when it came to the more utility things, they were more evenly matched. The Wild a little bit more with the depth in the strength department, but the Aces were able to pull it out in the last 2 bodyweight races. So we're going ahead and looking forward to that female triad.
The triad is the only race in which there is a male and a female version performed separately. It consists of 5 elements, each with 3 stations that must be completed individually. 3 players can be on the grid at any given time. All players can perform at any station and in any order. But all of the designated reps must be performed at each station. All 3 stations of each element must be complete before the team can move on to the next element. The triad is all about player conditioning and managing fatigue across the team. The best strategy ensures players have enough left in the tank for the last element and has backup plans for when things inevitably go wrong. Remember, try to catch your breath in the triad race.
For the Aces, that looks like it's going to be.
That is Taylor No, excuse me.
Well,
Quentin Ambrosia.
Over here for the Sharks, already doing those aerials. Sam Nally joining in here. Meanwhile, Kalen Ambrosio, his brother, is on the other side of the grid.
Wow,
for the first
this is
time,
almost like a
siblings
backflip.
going against each other on the grid.
And I don't know if you saw that. Ambrosia looked like he dislocated his finger for the Aces and pulled it out and kept going.
Ambrosio, they get vaulted out. As the Aces taking advantage, they get vaulted out.
All right, so we are out on the grid, taking a look at a piece of one of the piece of equipment for our elements. This is the flip sled. So this is 450 pounds. The players can grab it from either bar. Some choose to go with a lower bar. It's all different depending on what they're trying to do as a team. It's one or several people. For this triad, 3 of the players can flip it at a time. This weighing 450 pounds. That is the average weight of a full-grown bull shark, which is going to be necessary later because whoever wins this match today will be facing off at 3 p.m. against the Southwest Florida Sharks. Back to you guys at the desk.
That was a good one, Joe. We definitely enjoyed it. Let's go ahead and see the weights for this next race.
The triad for the win. All three players are going to be moving.
All right, folks, this is the female women's triad. We will have gender groups of 3. Starting off with the overhead squat. Women's weight at 100 pounds. We got toes to bars. We got 20 of those. We got dumbbell weighted pistols, 10 of those with the 30-pound weight. We also got the ring muscle ups. Women's reps will be 5 of those. And we have the flip sled, as Joe just spoke of. That's 450 pounds at an 80-inch height.
That's right. This race is women against women of each respective team, and you have to complete the reps on the station, as the video said earlier, right? So it doesn't matter how many reps one person completes. It has to be completed on every single bar separately. There's Jasmine Simpson getting lit on the grid. Okay. Everybody's fired up. I know the Aces are happy for morale to have won that last one. The last 2, actually, they threw that bonus flag, and it did pay off. That score now is unofficially 9 for the Wild and 8 for the Aces. The Aces were able to make up a serious deficit. I know they're hoping to do some more right now. Here's Casey Blow. She's back with the Wild. Last season, she actually played for the Daytona Beach Venom, but came back to the Wild for this season.
I like how both teams are loosening up out there. They're getting jiggy with it. Listening to the DJ. DJ MP is giving us the 1s and 2s right now. It's a vibe right now. They're ready to finish and compete. I'm ready to see how they finish up strong on the grid as well.
That's right, Byram. So we're looking forward to seeing it. It's going to happen in less than 30 seconds. The energy is high. Everybody's feeling good. You know, the Wild lost the last 2, but they're getting back into that stride. This is a stronger Wild team than we've seen before. I know they're feeling more confident now than ever. So really important that they're able to keep it together here on both sides.
Stand by. Race!
All right, this is the female triad. They're starting off with 12 overhead squats at 100 pounds.
Now, I see both teams look like they're well synchronized here. They got to get that squat, stay locked out at the top, stay safe as well. And as you mentioned, they have to complete these reps before they move on.
That's right. They have to complete the reps on a station, right? So each bar has to have 12 reps completed on it. They're moving on to those toes to bar. It's going to be 20 on each bar. They can switch out at any time for another female as long as she is on the active roster.
And they have to make sure that those toes actually touch the bars. You can't just graze it a little bit. The refs have to see it. It can't be your ankles. It can't be your shins. Make sure that is a correct movement.
That's right, and it can't be questionable. They have to have it without any doubt. Good point there, Byram. There's Sydney Wilson coming off. She's going to be switching off for Amanda Fisher, and it looks like the Wild are getting ready to move on to those dumbbell pistols. Meanwhile, the Aces have been there already, completing some reps. No hands in the air quite yet, but it looks like the Aces are slightly ahead here.
I feel like the dumbbell pistol squat is one of the hardest workouts you could ever do. As we always say, you can see the different techniques before both teams. Some of them are using one leg, some are using both. Either way, it's some heavy weight that they're putting up out there.
Absolutely. We're looking here at Amanda Fisher's getting started on those rings. Janine Nicole, Megan Madero's getting started on those rings. Sorry, that's Kayla Hollings. It's been a while since we've seen her over there. Sydney Wilson coming on. Sydney Wilson also used to play for the Brigade with Matt Cable, and they both switched to the Wild for the first time this season.
I'm just looking at that rig shaking as those ladies go up there and perform right there. That is amazing to see. I'm a bodyweight guy myself, so I love seeing them get over that ring.
That's right. Great communication from the Wild. Sydney Wilson didn't finish that last rep. She's calling for Carrie Billington to finish that last rep for her, and they're getting ready for the flip sled because Sydney Wilson could not do it. Oh, they're telling them to turn the flip sled back over the start line. That's costing them some serious time. Aces are already getting into the third quadrant. Oh, they are not happy about this. This is not the way that they wanted it to play out. The Aces are charging down the grid. Almost finished. One slip remaining. It has to pass completely over. And the Aces females reign victorious over the Wild for this race.
Yes, indeed. The Wild are definitely disappointed right now. We're in the third quarter right now, if you might say, comparatively speaking. I felt like this was a race that we needed.
23 seconds to go.
that the Aces needed, actually. So they got that race. The Wild are trying to finish up strong here, and they're going to have to pull it together. We talked about being a little loose. Maybe they got a little too loose. They want to stay focused so they can finish strong.
That's right. The Wild finishing off nice and slow. There was no reason for them to, do it fast. They have one more flip to go for it to get. Oh, sorry, never mind. They've just finished the flip sled, but looks like they are not too happy. The score should be even now. We'll get an update on that in just a minute. But that was absolutely vicious between the two teams. Definitely a lot to be said about communication and stuff. We saw some good communication from the Wild. It was just about keeping the standard. It looks like they just pushed the flip sled too early. It wasn't their time to push the flip sled because Carrie Billington hadn't finished that muscle up.
Yes, we've seen that with a few teams before, being a little choppy starting out with that flip sled. So it's very important. Technique starts from the very beginning all the way through the entire race. So they're going to have to tighten up a little bit. They got a few more races to go.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and take it over to Joe Roberto on the grid with Taylor Stallings.
All right, I am here with Taylor Stallings, just finishing up the female triad. Taylor, how are you feeling?
I feel ready to go. Ready to run through a wall right now. We're ready.
How's the team doing back there?
We good, a little beat up. We played a match yesterday, but we don't care. We have, the goal is to get to championship, so everybody's ready to lay it on the line. We're good.
Awesome, awesome. All right, anybody want to give a shout out to
my whole family, friends, everybody in Florida, Jersey City, Georgia, Tennessee. We love you, and we're going to bring it back to Orlando.
Those are your defending champion Aces. Good luck out there. Couple races left in the match.
Yes, sir. We're ready to go. All
right, good luck. Back to you at the desk.
We're ready to go. Definitely sounds like the theme of the Orlando Aces right now. Taylor Stallings looks confident. A really good showing from both these teams here. We'll get an updated score in a second, but in the meantime, let's look forward to see what we can look forward to in just a second.
Go behind your head. Keep your lower back neutral though, so you're only feeling that in your upper back.
My name is Melissa Caporo. I am a performance physical therapist in the CrossFit space, and I own my own practice that I run out of CrossFit West Chase in Largo called the Stoic Physio. So the mission that I have at the Stoic Physio is to create and maintain strong and resilient humans, whether that's physically or mentally. And that I do through my philosophy of keeping people moving and working people through strength movements, mobility movements. The thing that I love about what I do is I can have so much of an impact on an athlete that they see differences even from session to session. So seeing them start to come to me with some sort of pain that's limiting them from what they're able to do, and then making so much progress, and I see them able to lift the weights that they weren't able to lift and do the skills that they weren't able to do, really, really hits home for me. And it's a testament to what the work that my patients put in, but also the things that we're doing are the right thing.
All right, folks, we'll welcome back. We're getting ready for the triad for the men. We're starting out with the overhead squat. The men's weight will be 155 pounds. Over to the toaster bar will be 20 of those. We also have dumbbell weighted pistol squats that you saw, 10 of those with the 50-pound dumbbell. We have 8 ring muscle ups, and we also have the 650-pound flip sled at 80 inches.
That's right. Let's take it over to Joe Roberto. He can offer some clarification to us what happened on that last race.
Okay, so thanks, Cassie. A couple things happened. In the beginning, at the end of that female triad, you saw there was a fault given to the Wild because only 3 players can be working at a time. There was still 1 player out on the grid and 3 lifted the flip sled. Therefore, that is a fault. They needed to bring it back to the start before they could move forward. That being said, they did fall short in the overall race, but the Aces, come to find out, had an illegal player out on the grid. So now, 0 points are going to the Aces for that illegal player, and the Atlanta Wild will receive 1 point for still finishing, but overall losing that race. So still a very tight race. We have the male triad and the sprint relay to go. Lots happening. Back to you guys at the desk.
Wow.
Wow, man.
What an amazing turn of events. It looks like the Aces, having won that, did not get credit for it, will actually receive 0 points, and the Wild will receive 1 point for it. That leaves the score unofficially at 10-8. I know the Wild are feeling good. You know, you'd never want to win that way, but I'm sure it feels good to know that they still have a slight lead there.
Oh, yeah, I'll take that. Give me that. I want those.
Yeah.
Every point I can get. I do not care. Like I said, it's championship season. Roll up or get rolled over. We want it all. So shout out to the Aces for at least getting that point.
That's right. It's win-loss today, you know. So whoever wins this match goes to the championship against the Sharks.
Absolutely.
This is the male triad. We saw the females. Now it's time to see the males do the same thing, just a bit heavier. Remember, there can only be 3 people working on the grid. We saw it earlier with the flip sled. There can only be 3 people on the grid at a time completing a movement. 3 people touched that flip sled last time while Carrie Billington was still on the grid. That's why they did not, they had to flip it back to the start line. We have to keep that fairness there. These are those peachy athletic shorts that all the men are wearing while they do those 12 overhead squats at 155 pounds. It looks like the Wild are first ones to the next element. They're doing those toes to bar. Tristan Meredith accidentally went to the wrong bar. Remember, it's on stations. It's not how many you complete, it's how many you complete in a station.
Absolutely, and one thing I want to keep in mind too, it's not so much as knowing what to do out there on the grid or what workouts, it's the technicalities. Like we just said, the Aces just lost some points because they had a fault. So if these athletes, while they're competing at the highest level, can keep their minds together and knowing what the rules are, they can get their points.
That's right. It looks like these men are pretty evenly matched so far. They're completing reps on the dumbbells. No substitutions. Griffin Roll just came in, but the Aces are getting into it. The Wild had a slight substitution there.
Once again, they're on these pistol squats. You can see them using different variations, different styles. Protect your cartilage, baby. This is not easy what these athletes are doing, as you can see.
Absolutely. It looks like everybody's moving on to those 8-ring muscle-ups. Patrick Long, Griffin Roll, Tristan Meredith for the Wild. And we're looking at Darren Lasso for the Aces with Alex Velez. And that is Daryl McNeil. We haven't seen him a lot this season. Been a while.
It looks like there's almost every man that's on that rig right now is over 200 pounds or close to it. So that's a lot of heavy weight you got to get over that ring. Not easy at all.
That's right. They're finishing off that flip sled. The Wild did not make the same mistake twice. They had to get them off the grid.
Stay on that grid.
The Wild are kind of getting that flip sled out of control. Aces are in good control of the flip sled. They are trying to move as fast as they can. The Wild are catching up. The Wild are able to catch up on the flip sled. I've never seen that happen. One flip remaining for the Wild, and the Wild take the male.
What a win by the Wild. Stumping around like some big dogs. Look at him. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That was great to see, man. The Wild championship, boys. You see them. They hype. They know what time it is.
They
Look at
are
them.
hungry. I've never seen a team make up time on a flip sled without the other team making a mistake. That was absolutely insane. So much fun to see. I'm glad that we all got to see it together. It's still anybody's match, and we're about to find out who takes this next race, the sprint relay.
The sprint relay is the final race of every match and is worth an extra point for the race win. It is a relay race with 1 player allowed on the grid at a time and 8 elements to perform. Any player can perform on any element, and substitutions can happen at any time, except when a player performs the last rep of an element. In that case, the player must run back to the start line, perform a 4-point touch behind the start line, and sprint through to the finish line, permanently leaving the race. The next player may enter once the previous one has crossed the finish line. The only exception is the distance element that ends at the finish line with no sprint back required. The catch is, 4 men and 4 women must finish the 8 elements. The sprint relay is a great balance of strategy to decide which players in what order are the best combination, along with clean and well-executed elements by the players, to lead to the best race outcome for the team. Remember, 4 men and 4 women must finish the 8 elements in the sprint relay.
Unlike American football or baseball, where positions are very clearly defined with rules specific to them, grid league positions are more general. Think of it as a spectrum with a 4-foot gymnast on one end and a 400-pound strongman on the other, with every possible size, shape, and skill set focus filling in the middle. Roles on the grid have a lot of crossover from position to position, and there are many possible combinations that will yield a great team. Grid league has 3 primary player positions or roles on the team. Utility players generally have a wide range of abilities and end up with a diverse set of assignments on the grid. Utility players, although often assigned more total work than specialists, will still focus on their best movements as their means to contribute to the team. The strength specialist role often involves heavier assignments and, depending on the player's background, may be even more focused to individual types of strength movement, such as Olympic weightlifting or strongmen. Most of the super high-skill movements like backward roll to support in deficit, freestanding handstand push-ups are performed by bodyweight specialists. That said, there are several bodyweight specialists that mainly focus on more basic movements, but for big sets and fast cycle rates. Many are gymnasts as well, but even some of the best do not have gymnastics backgrounds, such as former MVP Paul Lays. Learn more about the sport of grid league at fgl.com/learn.
All right, folks, welcome back. We're back out on the grid, getting ready for the sprint relay. Wanted to show you some of the equipment. All the equipment you see is provided by Valor Fitness. These plates, bumper plates included, these are Purple Heart Valor bumper plates. They represent the valor and sacrifice of our service members. You can find these same plates and everything that you see out on the grid at valorfitness.com. Also, check out on your screen, there's a QR code that will lead you right there. Thanks again. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Joe. We're looking forward to this last race of the playoffs. Whoever wins this basically goes to the championship match against the Sharks. Let's go ahead and see those movements.
All right, we're getting ready for the final race of this match, the sprint relay. We're going to start off with the 20-pound wall ball at 10 feet high, rather. We get 20 reps of those. 185-pound overhead squats for 15 of those. We need 40 back handsprings plus the 4-point touch, very important. We have the 80-inch handstand walk. We got deck to pull over, 6 of those. We got 40-pound dumbbell hang snatch, 12 of those. We have 9 burpee to 9.5 ring, 9.9 ring, almost regulation. And we also have 225-pound clean and jerks, 7 reps at quadrant 4.
That's right, Byram. So unofficially, let's talk about the score, okay? It looks like the Wild have 12 points and the Aces have 9 points. That's a 3-point difference. Remember, sprint relay is worth 3 points. Now, that means that the Aces would have to win this and the Wild would have to not finish this for the Aces to win, right? Because the Aces already threw their bonus flag. Now would have been the time to throw their bonus flag if they would have had it, but unfortunately they already threw it and got that extra point, you know? I don't foresee the Wild throwing their bonus flag here because that would give the Aces a chance to win.
Now, in the event that this event is a 3-point event, right?
Yes.
If the Aces win and they get those 3 points, then it'll be a 12-point tie, right?
No, because the Atlanta Wild would have to not finish. Remember,
Understood.
You get 1 point of credit for completing a race. So if the Wild, by chance, do not finish a sprint relay, then the Aces would tie the Wild and it would go into gridlock, which is basically they would complete the last 4 elements on the sprint relay 4 times. So whoever would win that would be the winner.
So gridlock like New York traffic, huh? Something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Perfect.
Hopefully we can avoid that.
Yes. Looking forward to the grid. I know the Aces, are going to give it their all despite the difference, and hope, you don't want to win that way once again, but hopefully that the Wild don't finish, and the Wild are just hoping to at least finish the sprint relay, because that would mean they would go to the championship against the Sharks. As we found out, they will be going to the championship earlier.
And like we said in the match before, it all comes down to this. We are in the end game. You got to let it all hang out. I know yesterday was hang loose. They got to let it hang loose today too. This is the time to show your medal. Let's go get to the ship, baby.
That's right. And looking forward to this, I'm sure that, the Aces are happy. They had a great season despite the setbacks. Vegas wasn't ideal for them. They were planning on all going, and because the airports were closing, plans changed. Who knows what would have happened if they did have a full team. The Aces, of course, competed as part of the super team in the Vegas matches, but nobody could tell for sure. So it all comes down to this moment. This is the end of the season for one of these teams. This is the end of the playoffs. We're about to see the championship picture.
Absolutely. And also, just because you may not actually make it to the championship, it doesn't mean that this is a worthless play. You're building toward next year. If you're a playoff team, that means you're right there. Any little thing can put you over the hump to get you into that chip. So let's see how the Aces finish, and let's see if the Wild can get there as well.
What an amazing point, Byram. It could have been the time. It could be, they're missing a player. It could be anything. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to who's hungrier and what can they do right now at this moment. We're about a minute away from the start of gameplay. Everybody has their game faces on and just trying to pull out as much as they can.
And in the meantime, Cassie, I also want to give a shout out to Olipop. They are sponsoring all the uniforms, as you can see on your screen right now. Beautiful uniforms, and they also have amazing beverages if you want to try those. Great flavor system. They got all type of flavors, so check them out. Shout out to Olipop.
Great point, Byram. And as if I may say, from a female perspective, I have to add my little girly pop in there while we're talking about Olipop. Those jerseys are fresh.
Now they're fire.
All right, I think that's like what drew me into this sport in the first place, is the fact that they had uniforms and it was like a real team sport. You don't want to watch a team that's wearing like all kinds of different things or whatever. Everybody's very uniform. They're wearing those peachy athletic shorts. They're wearing that Olipop jersey. It's just super cool.
Yeah, it's official. It makes it look official because it is official.
Yeah,
So.
and anything else they add to their look is just extra accessory. And we love accessories.
Oh yeah, we love that too. Guys too. We do.
This energy here at the Broward County Convention Center in Fort Lauderdale, Florida is absolutely electric. We're about to see the championship picture play out in front of us. Orlando Aces, Atlanta Wild, the end of the line, the end of the playoffs. Who will make it to the 2024 championship match? And that will come at you, friends, at 3 o'clock. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below who you think is going to take this one, and also, follow us.
Yes.
Just be around here.
Absolutely.
We got videos coming out, the live streams, all that good stuff. And here we go. 20 wall balls at 20 pounds to a 10-foot target. That's going to bring out Casey Blow for the Atlanta Wild. That's Kayla Hollings for the Orlando Aces.
And they're trying to get that ball up there off the squat. So it may look very simple, but when you add a squat, when you're trying to get that 10, 20-pound med ball up there on that Valor plate there, is not easy. And they're making it look easy. They're taking their time because there is a specific that the refs are looking for.
Absolutely. This is just one of those movements that tire you out real fast. It's probably not the most impressive movement that we have here in Grid. We have tons of flashy movements, but this one in particular, it takes a lot of strength just to be able to keep on doing that.
Oh, yeah. It's a workout.
Yeah, they're crossing the finish line at just about the same time. That's going to bring out the 15 overhead squats at 185 pounds. For the Orlando Aces, that's Ryan DeMatti, 2023 MVP. And for the Atlanta Wild, that's David McKellar, Olympic weightlifter for the Atlanta Wild.
You see the strength specialist at work right now. In this particular race, every aspect of Grid is on point and on display. You're going to see the body weight get busy out there. There's utility players who can do it all, and we're just going to enjoy seeing them perform.
Ooh, great snatch from Sydney Wilson.
It was.
He was able to finish that. It looks like the Wild opted to do a little switcheroo for whoever they had. Oh, a little speaker went down there in the corner. But that's going to bring out Carrie Billington for her back handspring to the third quadrant. She's going to do that 4-point touch and run down to the finish line. It might have cost the Wild a little bit of time there. That's Janet Durant for the Orlando Aces, already in the fourth quadrant for that handstand walk. Tristan Meredith trying to make up some time, doing a really fast one, if I may say so myself, trying to make up some time for his team. That transition took. Alex Velez coming over for the pullovers.
And here we go. The bodyweight specialists are about to tackle that rig right now. You see them going over that bar. They have to be flat on the ground, chest touching the ground, thighs touching the ground. If there's any air under there will be a fault. So they are paying attention to their technique, as you can see.
That's right. RJ Hibbard doing an absolutely amazing job on these, making up a lot of time for his team. He finished at just about the same time as Alex Velez. Really strong player showing from there. It looks like Amanda Fisher and Taylor Stallings are coming out, and they are going neck and neck for those 12 dumbbell hang snatches. 40 pounds in each hand. That's absolutely insane. It looks like Taylor Stallings, instead of between the legs, she's going for more of a ski erg kind of movement here.
Yeah, that technique. Sorry about that, Cassie, but yeah, the technique is different. When I say Taylor's on the grid, Taylor's on the grid, you better watch out. You know what time it is.
Taylor's really efficient at those. I would die if I didn't put it between my legs like that. that was very impressive, the way that she did that. I don't see that happen too often. Here's Daryl McNeil coming out for those burpee terrains. We saw Joe stand under it earlier. Joe is not a short guy. He's pretty tall, but it looks like the Aces were able to kind of get the lead here. Daryl McNeil, Patrick Long for the burpee to 9-foot 9-inch ring.
Yeah, and you see them, they have to touch that ring. I was trying to get his name out there, but he caught it. He didn't catch it a couple times, so it was a fault. So you got to get up off their ground, get your hops up.
Yeah, that's Patrick Long for the Wild. He did miss the first one or two there. Daryl McNeil was out of there first. It's going to bring up Alex Hollings. He's going to do those clean and jerks. It's going to come down to those clean and jerks. Who's the fastest on them? Griffin Roll coming out for the Wild versus Alex Hollings. Who can finish first? They're both touch and go. 3 reps remaining for the Aces.
Here we go.
2 reps remaining for the Wild.
It's coming down to the wire.
Can Griffin Roll finish in time? Alex Hollings, 4-point touch. Griffin Roll, 4-point touch. And it looks like the Wild did finish. And the Aces won the sprint relay, but because of the points, the Wild are going to the championship, Byram.
Yeah, they did not have to rush through that last rep. You see them kind of taking their time because, as you mentioned, all they had to really do is finish. They stacked their points through the course of this particular race. And here we go. It looks like we have the championship set. Cassie, talk to us.
That's right. You know, the Wild were ahead by 3 points going into this. Even though the Aces won the sprint relay, they couldn't overcome the deficit. Finish for it to be a tie, so the Wild do win by 1 point for getting that credit. An amazing showing from both teams. I'm sure it hurts. The Orlando Aces are the 2023 Grid League champions, so it has to sting a little bit. The Wild didn't even make it to the playoffs last season, so they were able to overcome there and do better this season and come together as a team, add some key players, add some depth, add some talent, add some camaraderie. You know, this is a new Wild team. This is different than we've seen in previous seasons.
Well, as we spoke to Tom back in Vegas, he said that he felt like the Atlanta Wild can match up with any team. He proved to be right. We have a chance now. We're about to head into some shark-infested waters. We're going to see what happens at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be the Southwest Florida Sharks versus the Atlanta Wild at 3 o'clock. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell to be notified when we go live. You do not want to miss this. These are two teams that I can't even tell you the amount of competitiveness that we're about to see.
It feels like the two teams that should have made it.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely, 100%.
Yep, they performed at the highest level even since Vegas. They were confident. Both teams are confident. I'm so excited. We're not gassing y'all at home. This is going to be exciting. So come back at 3 o'clock. You're going to have some fun.
Well said, Byram. In the meantime, we'll see you at